What's up, streamers? It's your host, King Tetra. I ain't got video for you on this conversation. It's just going to be strictly audio. With me, I got Big Aaron again.
How's it going?
And we're going to have a quick conversation about depression and our takes on things like depression, anxiety, these things that the narrative a lot of times puts on people. Maybe not the narrative, but you might be, I can't think of the word, like the doctor doesn't prescribe, but he designate
diagnosis.
You're diagnosed
Yeah.
with depression
Things
or
you really didn't realize you had.
yeah.
Most time.
Like I was thinking about this conversation. You know, I was diagnosed with ADHD at an early age and never once took medicine for it. Am I fidgety? Yeah, you'll see that through all the videos. Do I lose focus? Yeah, if it's boring, I'll lose focus. But I think that's most people. I mean, they say people's attention span now is down to 15 seconds or 30 seconds.
And it's going down more and more.
Yeah, like to the point where we need cars that'll stop on their own because, you know, you can't pay attention. You're too busy doing selfies in the car or something. Maybe that's the problem, not your attention span. So I'm going to talk about a little bit my philosophy and my thought process. When I hear things about depression and I hear about you have ADHD or anxiety, but especially depression, I look at it as just weakness. And depression causes suicide or some of the other things, maybe turns into schizophrenia and some of the other diagnoses, bipolar. And I've met a lot of people that are diagnosed with these things, and I do not feel that they're crazy or it's like, you're not depressed. You got a shitty life. Get up and do something with it. Yeah, sometimes that's easier said than done.
Definitely.
But you got to make strides. You can't just sit there and eat tubs of ice cream.
Yeah, but I would argue that although depression, a lot of it is just in your head, maybe in the beginning, once you let it take hold of you, like you have a bad situation, like, you lose someone or someone really screws you over or you lose your job, in the beginning it's all in your head, ooh, poor me. But once it really sets into your head, I think to an extent, it does get, set into you, and then it's beyond your control until you take really big steps to control it.
But that's the same thing with a drug addiction. So is this an addiction of misery loves company type thing, where you're so set on the facet that my life's not doing well, or whatever you're depressed about. Well, my girlfriend or boyfriend doesn't love me. My job isn't. I'm depressed about my job because it's not the job I seen myself having. Whatever the case it is, you're depressed, but you feed into your own thought process. To me, that it still boils down to weakness.
I suppose
you're mentally weak.
Yeah, I suppose it does. But like I said, I think when bad things happen to people or just shitty things, it takes hold of them, and then it's hard to get back out of it, and it becomes almost subconscious to an extent. Because if you think about something enough negatively, it's going to be really negative, and if you dig yourself a hole.
That's true, and it's also what's said to you. Like, I can't remember who said it. It was this rapper, but he said, if you're told your whole life you ain't going to be shit, chances are you ain't going to be shit.
You're not going to be shit because you're going to believe it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
it's all about perspective and how you're treated. Because
just because your mom tells you every day you're going to grow up and be somebody today,
it doesn't necessarily mean
that doesn't mean that either. So
it's a good start because you're being.
I don't even know about that. Like, okay, so I have 4 children, and I'm brutally honest with everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't tell my kids, "Oh, you're going to go out there and make it." I say you have the opportunity to go out and make it. It depends on what you're going to do.
And that's good because it's good to, push them on and give them the best chance they can have. But you need to be realistic too, because the first time they fail, if you've told them their whole life they're going to be great, they're going to think, "Oh, son of a bitch was lying to me.
This guy has fallen.
This man has lied to me. How dare I only get second place?"
Yeah, and I don't let my kids win.
Yeah.
Because I think we breed, literally we breed weakness.
I definitely agree with you on that. Pumping someone up too much is setting them up for failure, because they're not always going to be in your environment where you can protect them and let them win and let them succeed in your own way. They need to be out in the world one day.
Technically, they're not going to be in your environment 5 years old, because then they start school.
They start school when they're around other hooligans and teachers and.
Well, they might be the hooligan.
Well,
because they just think that they're just,
they're the big shit.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hate the idea that I guess there is a thing of depression.
Yeah.
But it's from a weak standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Suicide, I think probably 90% of the cases, if not higher, is from weakness. Now, you might have a fragile mind.
Yeah.
There are things where people are just so their body is beat up, they're in so much pain all the time that they just don't want to go on anymore. So, okay, I can almost understand that, but you're also leaving behind so much.
I think a lot of the decisions people make, including suicide and most rash decisions, can be boiled down to fear.
Fear.
I think so, because they're scared of what they could do to hurt people. Like, say they perceive that they hurt someone, then they say, well, I'm doing the world a favor by getting me out of it, or getting me away from them, or breaking up with them, or leaving my kids because, what if I'm a crappy parent? Or what if I hurt these people again?
It still goes back to weakness, though.
It does, but it's fear. So much of it is fear.
Okay,
this is kind of off topic, but if you think about so many of the things that have been done to you or done in history, it's fear. So much of it is fear.
You can have a fear of
anything.
Anything, of messing up. You can have a fear of
the
wrong thing happening. You can have a fear to succeed.
Yeah.
There's phobias all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that they'll tear apart relationships. They'll tear apart a good job.
Out of fear.
Out of
being scared of taking the next step.
Yeah.
Or scared of the next step.
Well, I know a lot of people that deep down don't want to move up. They don't want a promotion because do they really want to take on it? Well, yeah. Well, it's not the responsibility, but do they really want to step up and put themselves in a position to maybe not be as good as they are?
What they're doing now.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like,
they'd rather be the big fish in a small pond.
Exactly. And it's like you're never going to broaden your horizons. You're never going to see what else is out there and maximize your potential unless you put yourself out there. Now, everybody fails at something throughout time.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not whether or not you fall down. It's whether or not how quick you get back up.
You get back up and try it again, or you try something else. It's like Einstein said, if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, he'll live his whole life thinking he's nothing.
Yeah, correct. I think it was flying, whether or not he could fly.
I think it was climbing a tree, but I don't remember how it ended.
Well,
I just know it was thinking he's a failure or something like that.
Yeah, I get where you're going with that. But I don't know, and I'm sure I'll have tons of people, if they listen to this, be like, you're so wrong. I need my Xanax or whatever. And it's like, no, you don't. I argue with people at work all the time. And I'm not going to put any names out there or anything, but it's like, no, you don't have these. You have these issues because you allow yourself to have these issues.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you don't ever get stressed out. I'm like, very rarely. Yeah, I'll get frazzled for a little while. Yeah. Something might piss me off. It goes away.
Yeah.
I always tell people, have duck feathers. And what I mean by that, I don't know if you've ever heard that term, duck feathers. So, a duck can get wet, and the water just literally trickles right off of them.
Yeah.
So they don't
allow the problems to stick to them.
Yeah.
Or the stress. And it's hard to do that, but if you can get to a point where you can do that, at least with certain situations, it's very helpful. It's very, I'd say, productive for your overall well-being and for the well-being of those around you.
Well, most people, the great majority of people, look at the end result, what made them depressed in the first place. And this is where accountability and responsibility comes into this discussion. So, say you're depressed because you lost your home and more, stuff like that. Yeah. And it could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe the company downsized. Maybe, so you lost your job. Maybe you overspent.
Took out a mortgage you couldn't handle.
Yeah, there's the economy crashed. You're upside down in the house.
It's not necessarily the mortgage company being an asshole to you.
You at the end of the day, you sat on the dotted line.
Yeah.
You see this from people that are making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
I know millionaires that went broke.
Yeah. And they don't make rational decisions.
Yeah, maybe they were too ambitious in the stock market and really didn't know what they were doing. Maybe they made
so they invested $100,000.
Well, maybe they had a couple business deals that they thought was going to be lucrative and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Or they loaned a bunch of money. Whatever the case is, yeah, the end result was you lost your home, you ended up broke. So now you're depressed because you're not where you used to be. You're accustomed to living a certain way.
I see what you're saying. The majority of it boils down to something that you caused yourself.
Yeah, look at the trickle down effect.
Yeah.
I always go back to a speeding ticket, right?
Yeah.
People get
people get upset about speeding tickets.
Well, yeah, but it goes directly to accountability, right? So it's easy to be like, oh, this damn cop was out of line.
Yeah, screw with me.
Correct, and you got to think back and go, well, why did the cop pull me over? Was the cop out of line? Now, do cops ever get out of line? Sure, but this ain't the conversation for it.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10,
were you speeding?
Were you speeding? Yes. Was there a good reason for you to be speeding? Probably not, because it's a law. Is there a good reason for you to be selling drugs? Is there a good reason for you to be raping people? No. You're technically breaking a law. It's not a big law, but you're breaking a law. So technically, they're doing their job, Yeah. And typically you'll find out, well, the person was running late to work, right? Or an event. They were running late, so they were speeding. Well, you figure out why they were running late. Well, why were you running late? Well, I got up late. I woke up late. Well, why'd you wake up late? Well, I stayed up late. Maybe they were drinking. They were gaming all night. They were watching a movie. They decided to do some type of action that caused them
to wake up late.
So
follows the dominoes.
Yeah. But everybody always wants to look at the last domino.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can be upset about this, but at the end of the day, there was a reason why this happened.
You should consider the causes.
And I know what a lot of people say, well, because, and I know a couple of these cases as well, and people will say, well, that doesn't explain it all. Holding accountability, if you're raped, you never, you didn't set yourself up, that's something that messes with you mentally. And I'm like, I agree with you. If you were brutally raped, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
There are circumstances in the world, but let's take out the few certain circumstances that's going to totally mess with your head. And rape isn't always the case. So it's totally different if, like, say you were in a McDonald's bathroom taking a leak and somebody barged in and just rapes you right then and there.
Yeah.
Middle of the day. You have no control over that.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And it's going to cause some mental anguish, and the floor is dirty. Right?
You can get sick too.
Yeah.
All kinds of things.
So, but the chick that's out at the bar or drinking with friends and hanging out, and goes back to the house and gets to that point, with some stranger, and then says no, and then they get raped. It's still rape, yes, but you had a part to play in this just as much.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it's still horrible, but they were engaging in a dangerous situation, which they're absolutely not to blame, but
it's like playing Russian roulette.
It's more
right?
foreseeable, definitely.
Yeah, it's like
it's a scenario.
Would you be depressed? Would you listen to somebody that said that they were depressed because they were shot in the head? You're like, man, how'd you get shot in the head? You're like, well, I was playing Russian roulette, and yeah, I got it.
Yeah. I'd be like, man, that sucks, but I really don't have any pity for you now.
No, I would say, well, you dumb fuck. Why were you playing Russian roulette?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of instances, it goes back to accountability and responsibility. Now, like I said about, going broke or not advancing in your career, there's a lot of people that bitch about not advancing in the career, and are depressed with it. I'm still stuck in the same blah, blah. And it's like, well, have you done everything? Like, typically, these are the people that won't take on the next challenge. Well, I need to get paid.
Initiative at all.
Yeah, I don't want to take on any extra work.
Do you help people?
That's not my job. Well, and it never will.
Never will be, exactly.
So, I think I got a little off topic, but
So it's a good discussion.
I just don't. I don't buy the whole depression theory. And, and the amount of people that are supposedly depressed today, that everybody needs a pill to feel better about themselves. And half of them make you sweat, shit yourself. Like, it's like, that's going to make me more social. Bad breath,
I don't know.
And you might die.
There's been some days where I'll be perfectly fine, and then the next day I just feel...
Yeah, I have days where I'm in a funk.
And there's not really a reason. And that's kind of what I experience as, I'm depressed today. It's not like, if it's one day, I wouldn't say it's depressed. You just feel off today. But there's been times where I feel like that for weeks, months. Mostly when I was a teenager. I attribute that to hormone issues, more than likely.
Well, yeah, and that was the other thing I was going to talk about. Like, I know a lot of people that are diagnosed as bipolar.
Yeah.
And I asked them, when were you diagnosed? Well, I was 16, 15, 17.
Have you been reevaluated?
Yeah, you need to go, because I don't think you're crazy. All teenagers are crazy. I got 2 teenage kids. Yeah. They're crazy.
I remember when I was like,
I love them.
Yeah.
I remember how I was. Yeah, I was bouncing off the walls. I was
doing all kinds of things.
Yeah, and my thought process was all over the place. Yeah. Who was I? What am I going to be? What am I going to do when I grow up? Oh my God. Yeah. That's hormones. That's growing. You got dots coming on your face, and you got hair growing in places you weren't expecting. Things growing at rates that you weren't expecting, and you got this sexual urge that is trying to unleash itself, and you have no idea what you're doing. So yeah, I can understand where you have issues at that age, but it's not depression. It's not bipolar. You're not crazy. Now, if you got voices going on in your head and you're talking to yourself, and you got a guy named Johnny that's on your left side telling you to slaughter people for the Son of God, no,
you might be crazy.
Yeah, but the rest of it, no. Now there is something about negative energy. And you can let it dwell on you, and it will sit there like a pit of despair, right? Yeah. I remember I was reading this article with this guy. He was always so stressed out from his job. And he would come home and kind of like take it out on his family, and things weren't going well at work or at home. And he decided he was going to make a change. And he had this great big tree. I can't remember what kind of tree it was in his yard. So every day when he got out of the car, before he went in, he went up and bear hugged the tree for like 2 minutes, and just try to push all the negative energy out before he went into home. And it made his home life so much better. It's like he got it all out. Well, within 2 years, the tree was dead. And it's like, that's what you do to other people when you let yourself be stressed out. Yeah. And
you damage them.
Yeah. That's how you end a career. That's how you end relationships. Yeah. So
that's how, if you do have a high position at a job, that's how you run off the good people that you want to work there, and you attract the low lives and the
other people suffering.
Yeah.
in your pit of despair
People
with
who
you.
can share your suffering with you.
A lot of these people are misery likes company people. I mean, think about what the people that always seem grumpy and depressed and stuff like that you know, and how many of them are a misery loves company.
Because they flock to other people they can tell
Yeah,
their
it's
problems to.
they sit there in their little gaggles and have their little bitch fest. And yeah, do we all have things to bitch about from time to time? Sure.
Every day.
People piss me off every day.
Every hour.
And it's like, yeah, I'll talk about it, but like, yeah, this fucking guy.
It's something to joke about.
You know, and you laugh it off and you go about your business, and you know, or even if your job sucks at the time, and you know, or it's kind of rough, or you got a lot of expectations, deadlines, whatever. You bitch about it for a couple minutes and you go and take care of it.
Yeah.
You don't let it just sit there and like, I don't know how I'm going to pull this one off. Oh no.
Or days. Or even hours.
I don't know if I can take this much
There's
longer.
no point.
You know.
It's absolutely pointless. There's no.
Well, not only do
productivity.
you let it kill you, you're going to destroy. You're not going to do a good job in it, for one.
Yeah. Then you're gonna end up getting ousted, and it's gonna affect people around you, and then people you tell about it, it's gonna run them down too.
Yeah, so
That's all you do is talk about your problems.
yeah, so this weakness, I feel a lot of it is derived from. I don't want to say social media, but just all media. You know, like a new form of it is like Facebooks and Twitters and stuff. People talking about what they got.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, and 90% of Facebook is bullshit.
Oh, exactly. Because everything they post on there, the majority of people either they post something stupid that's going on they're complaining about, or they post about how great something they have or did is, and just because they're saying, "Oh, I got a new car," or "Oh, I got a new dog," or "Had a great dinner with my girlfriend or boyfriend," or whatever, you don't know what else is going on in their life. Their life could be every bit as shitty as yours, if not more. And there's no way to, you know,
Verify it.
make faces.
Yeah.
There's no way to compare it to your own life because you don't know the full story.
Well, I never bought into the Facebook and stuff like that. Like, I had a MySpace account for a very short time.
Yeah.
And people would hit you up, and it's like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Why do I want to talk to you now?
Yeah.
But I would see the few people that I had on my MySpace, and, you know, photos, oh, look at this is great, and, you know, this and that. And I would look at them like, I actually know you.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
like,
need
okay, I
to
understand
see
you got
bullshit.
700 followers or friends or whatever the case may be. And it's like, oh, lovely home and this and that, and this is so great. And it's like,
meanwhile, you're thinking, I know there's a sinkhole in your yard.
yeah, well, that,
You're not
or
showing.
it's like, you and your wife hate each other.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
why are you posing for pictures? Like, either that or, you know, but I don't want you throwing all your dirty laundry out there either. But it's
Yeah.
just like fakeness. But then other people see that and they go,
Man, they got a great
oh,
life.
they got a great life. I wish I had someone to love like
Yeah.
that. You know, so I think that's part of the problem. And then you got the media, and you got these infomercials. There's something, you know, if you woke up today, you need a pill.
Yeah.
You know, because there's something wrong with everyone.
Well, they'll give you a pill for anything.
Yeah.
Oh, my toe was twitching. Here you go. Restless leg syndrome.
Well, I woke up and I was still tired, and I actually took a leak. What's wrong with me, Doc? Well, this is it, and this will cure it. You know, and I know I don't want to spiral into the drug addiction of this society, but everyone's addicted to something. You know, and they're creating heroin addicts all over the place. But once again, it goes back to weak people. There's a certain bit of pain, a threshold of pain that humans can take on a day-to-day basis. Now, I'm not saying, you know, your limb is lopped off, and yeah, go to the doctors, get that shit fixed. You know, you break an arm, you break a leg, yeah, sure. I've hurt myself many times and never had to go to the doctors. It'll heal. Yeah, just stay off your ankle. You rolled it a little bit, okay,
Make
fine.
sure it's pointing in the right direction.
Yeah. But, you know, there's people like, oh, my back aches today. I think I need to go to the doctors and get some pain.
Yeah, my back hurts all the time. The only thing you can do is relax when you get home.
Yeah, some good R&R.
You know.
So, I don't know. Like, that's just my opinion on
Yep.
depression. Like, it doesn't exist the way it's portrayed.
Yeah.
What they should call it is weakness pills. And I would love to hear from other people, and we can carry this conversation. And
Yeah,
I
tell
can go
us
in
what your whole
front.
thing. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah, go further into depth with it, and yeah, add to the comments. Sign out.